This is True Crime PhD, and I'm bringing you the latest update in the Bryan Kohberger case. So first off, I want to apologize for any background noise. I'm currently on vacation, but I didn't want to miss bringing you this important update. So this week, the courtroom focused on a major point of contention, which was the gag order. That's kept attorneys and investigators and other key players from speaking to the media since early 2023. So the prosecution filed a motion to lift the gag order, aligning with the challenge brought News Nation, I apologize, who hired an attorney to argue that the gag order is overly broad and violates the public's right to know. They argue the silence has gone on long enough, especially as this case draws national attention. The defense, however, still insists the gag order protects Kohberger's right to a fair trial. So, and this makes approximately 6 days before Kohberger's scheduled sentencing on July 23rd. So the judge determined that the original purpose of the non-dissemination order, also known as the gag order, was to protect Kohberger's right to a fair trial, was no longer relevant now that he has pled guilty. And some of the key highlights from the hearing: police, prosecutors, defense attorneys, which are now legally permitted to speak publicly about the case if they choose to. Documents are still sealed. Court documents remain under seal, and they will undergo a review process after the sentencing hearing concludes and are expected to be sealed in phases starting from the most recent filings. Now, as far as the media coalition, including the Associated Press, Fox, CBS, CNN, and so forth, have petitioned for this change, noting that a trial is no longer set and the public's First Amendment rights now take precedence. Kohberger's defense team opposed lifting the order, so this sightings of fears of a potential media frenzy impacting the fairness of the sentencing. Judge Hippler also acknowledged these concerns, but they did not override the public's right to information. Now, there's no obligation to speak. Although the gag order is lifted, no one is compelled to give interviews or statements. Participation currently remains voluntary, so it's not that they're obligated to produce any information in regards to the case. The sentencing on July 23rd, Kohberger is set to be formally sentenced, receiving 4 consecutive life sentences. We will also be streaming that. I will be streaming that on our True Crime PhD YouTube channel. He will be receiving the 4 consecutive life sentences and the 10-year burglary term per his plea deal. Now, expect a gradual unsealing of the key case materials in the weeks or months that follow. So, subject to judicial review, these will start being produced, and we will be hopefully getting some of those documents as soon as possible. Reporters may now pursue interviews with involved parties, though many are currently refraining until after sentencing. Follow for full coverage and future updates on the Idaho 4 case on True Crime PhD on YouTube. Click the subscribe button and all if you have not, and that will allow you to get all notifications. Also follow us or become a member of our Patreon. It's actually free, and we can actually we have content that is not as censored as the other platforms. Also check out our links in the main page because we have a newsletter and true crime merchandise.